Hello and good morning. It is Friday, 20th day of October 2017. Welcome. My name is Derek and time for an extended morning report, at least as of the time of my recording. It's 9:14 a.m. New York City time, although I am not in New York City. And a lot of what I show is how I view the markets, what I'm doing, and in this video, there will be no exception to that. And of course, on your end and always on my end with what I'm doing, everything you do is within your own risk and own reward. And considering you're watching this video, that means you're probably involved in Bitcoin trading to one extent or another. You're obviously making risk reward plays, and I hope I can do the best to help, but I probably have with so many people, given I'm doing well and I know the information I have given long term has done exceptionally well. All right then. And at this point, 20 minutes before the recording of this video, and pretty much still at the same point, this is where I stand as far as my holdings. Almost 4/5 of it into Bitcoin. So to say that I'm going close to all in or very aggressive within it, yes. And at the end of the month in September, and for pretty much all the time before then, I was usually around 30% Bitcoin. I really can't go too low because when you're playing on multiple different exchanges and you also want to use it as money now and then, you have to have enough. And now I'm looking at the situation of the market. I decided to go very aggressive this month in accumulating Bitcoins and distributing alternate coins, and I've done just that. Second on the list, I'm going to go over this chart in this video, is XBY, and I have really done hardly, if at all, any distributing within it, and it really hasn't went down much since that point, and I'm going to talk about it within this video. And because of good profits, I'm just a bit stingy and not distributing any of it right now. Smart. This is a case of just getting great gains. Something I've seen in a play. This could be a lot higher if I wasn't very aggressive in profit taking, but I'm also not super aggressive at taking. Okay, I'm out at 1800 or whatever these big numbers we've had in the past. I could have, I didn't. KOMODO, I'm going to talk about that one there, 1.2%. I've been liquidating out of that a little bit. And actually, it's a little bit lower because I just sold some, not much, but I sold some just recently. So it's like 1.1 something or whatever. And I'm not buying it back. LITECOIN, the only one I'm not arbitraging. I probably spelled that wrong. 0.7%. That was much higher. And I'm almost down to zero, just selling it all. I'm waiting for it to barely break that key support, and then boom, it's gone. Cannabis. This is just a case. I bought this for over 80% off. So I had a whole bunch. And I haven't distributed them all out yet. And it was one of these. There's 13 other codes that are worth 5.6% of my stack. And there were many more before, and I've gotten out of a few, and I'll be getting out of a few more in time. These are codes that I tried to buy and sell for a good discount, and just recently I ended up making a good deal on a Bella trade. I just sold 200 of them for over 2,500 on a smaller exchange, and I'm going to go to that and show you something that I'm looking at this now, and if I only would have known about this back in March, wow, because it's so profitable. And I probably shouldn't be saying it because you'd be in competition within me, but I'm going to be talking about KOMODO, so I kind of am. So then, let's get started. We'll go in the, I'm not going to go over SMART because I've been going over that one already, and this is just a case of me getting whatever profits that I can, but I will go over Bitcoin, XBY. I'm going to go over KOMODO. Heck, why not? We'll go over CAN and LITECOIN. But I'm going to LITECOIN. When I go over LITECOIN, I'm mainly going over the altcoin in itself because they all have bearish indicators. So then let's get started with the analysis on Bitcoin. Within this daily chart, and I've went over this a lot, so I don't want to go over too much, and I got a lot of things I want to cover too. I would like to make this video under 25 minutes if possible. But if not, it's not. You know, there's a little bit of a downtrend here. We're going to see it better on the 2-hour time frame. No big whoop. This is such a powerful situation to be able to have a move of this nature and then come back and do this exact same thing like this move never happened, and it's had an extremely tight sideways consolidation like this. The two things it's showing is sellers and buyers don't come in too much, because obviously the buyers haven't done really anything to get past this resistance point, but the sellers aren't bringing it past this support, and the only time they did, the buyers brought it back up. This is a very, very bullish pattern overall. I look at this as the likelihood of having a significant break above here, and at least it not caving in from that point, compared to a significant break down below towards here, and thus resisting or not getting above the 5,000-ish level, to be much, much, much more likely to be this one. Hence, of course, why I'm 79 point whatever percent in Bitcoin. And within the double hour, 2-hour time frame, we can see a little bit of a downtrend over the last half dozen plus periods or so. Support is not caving in, at least not as of yet. And it's extreme support. This level is holding. And that's tremendous in itself, because we can be talking about this level of support, which would be strong enough in itself if it was holding there. And as I stated, within the possible failed breakdown, fast move to the upside, when you look for those patterns and you look for how the thing is playing, how the story is going, basically, well, the story needs this to have the fast move in here, which it does. Relatively quickly after that, whether it be immediate or a few periods, and it was immediate, to get above the band. And even if it just held this little area here for a bit, that's strong. But no, another little move higher, and it has held that level with this support being resistance. Super, super strong. So within the failed move, fast move kind of setup, what's important, and I stated this before, is for it to hold a significant higher low, which originally was here. And I guess you could still say it would be. Now, when you look at it, if it does make a move to 54 and then rallies back up, what will we call this pattern? A head and shoulders, and on the inverted scale, an inverted head and shoulders. And that's, of course, if there's short-term weakness that comes into play, that gets followed with a rally. If short-term weakness doesn't come in, that means there's no choice but for these support levels to either not be tested or held, and thus the rally to come in. Because a break of this point, it's going to be interesting, because as I get into Litecoin and the other ones, when I think that this comes in and this breaks out, that's when the Litecoins and the Ethers and the Moneros and the Neos and the PivXs and everything else are just going to be falling, I think. But anyway, let's continue on forward with the 5400 or the 5400 that I mentioned. I think now that because it's held so well, I would really like to see it hold and stay above really this level of support, but it's taking its little time to make any kind of moves, but at the same point, it's still at an extremely strong level because it's holding a very high level of support right now. So yes, I'm very optimistic within this chart. Okay, let's take a look at XBY, a logarithmic scale since pretty much when I got in, as I was a buyer, actually just even a bit before then, as I was a buyer, I think at around 25 or 40 or some lower number anyway. I had won a poker tournament through Bitcoin, not a big one, but enough where I could put a small bet on it, and I kind of wish I would have put more, and I knew more, and it was a mistake that I knew that I probably should have been a bit more aggressive on so many different levels, but it has really worked out very well. And over the last little while, like I stated, it really hasn't traded too much, but at the same point, it hasn't really been making me any money either. Well, that is to say, on roughly around here, everything in here, I was trading this like a boss, and something happened. I was trying to transfer some XBY from one exchange to the Yobit exchange, and it stalled. It took well over a month to get them back. And I have not been able to get great gains like I had since that point. And this has worked on so many different levels. As in this before August, it was very common on Yobit for XBY to have some very interesting high volume washouts or FUD, just trying to make some big interesting moves. But it was so profitable because the play was, at least for mostly on back then, I would have big buy orders or buy orders for lower amounts on both sites like the CSEX exchange, which I don't trade on anymore, and the Yobit exchange, which I don't trade on there anymore as well. So what I would do is I'd have buy orders in ready to go. So say, for example, back in here, if the price action was, say, 650, then I would have buy orders at like 550, 500, all the way ready to go and very attentive to what was going on, because you have to be fast in this business. And if, say, someone wanted to pump it down majorly and I was fast enough, it could work almost every time on two different ways. So price action's 550, and then boom, they pump it down. And let's just say I have a buy order in at, say, 475 and 400. And they both get hit because they pump it down big on Yobit. Boom, down she goes. Now at the time, let's just say that was a Yobit exchange, which was what I would call the proper price, or had the best bid-ask ratio. It might have a 550, 540 at the time. Yet maybe on CSEX, you'd have something like a 570 and a 520. It can be worse there. But here's the deal. If the bid-ask ratios are such before such an event, and then someone trashes it down basically, and I buy 475, I buy 400, I can then turn around and sell for 520 and 518 and 510, and thus make a profitable trade. Now that didn't always happen. Sometimes they both go down together. But on the risk-reward trade, if, say, for example, they did that, and you could do this with one exchange and this would be so profitable, where it's in the 550s and they bring it down to, say, like you buy at 400. Oh, sweet. Now you just wait like an hour, 4 hours, or 6 hours, and you'll see the price back to 470, 480, like almost every time. So it was easy to get trade profits on that level, but that just stopped to exist. And the Yobit trading on it, ever since they had wallet issues for the entire month of August, it's a lot different now. So when it comes down to it, I look at risk as what I have, which is 10% of my portfolio, less profits that I make on the way down. Because if this goes, we'll say, to nothing, then it's got to go to like 250, and then 200, and then 150, and then 100. And if I see that and I'm able to make a profit on the way down, then I'm going to do it. And there's only one way I'm going to add tokens, and I kind of want to, and that will be from future profits, but I can't see this happening until November, when I start to become bullish on the alternate coins. And my reward is many folds higher. And I'm not going to say it's unlimited or it's basically, there's no maximum to it, because there is, but there kind of is no maximum, because 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500,000 times gains are mathematically in play if you get very lucky and play it right. If codes can go up 100 times in value, and many have, and you trade it along the way even better, then you can do better than 100 times, or maybe get 1,000 time reward. course, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that it's worth the risk versus the reward. There is a good reasons why I'm going long within it. Unfortunately, I'm unable to state such, but I do, of course, have 10% of my portfolio within it. And now let's move on to KOMODO, and I'm in a nice little fun bidding war, as I call it, with somebody. If you're watching, how you doing? Because I'm on the other end of the spectrum, because you're in the same little battle trying to sell KOMODO with me. I just sold some minutes before the start of this video. As far as this pattern's concerned, I mean, all the alternate coins don't have much saying for it right now. This major extreme level of support of all of July into August and the start of September was retested, not for anywhere near in length of duration as this before it had this rally, but it's looking starting to get weak. If you see action breaking anywhere near 26, 27 handle, that's not going to be pretty. But you know what? I think with all these coins, everything is just going to be buy later on. It's just the bottoms don't seem to be in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the ask on coin exchange right now. And the ones in blue are me. And a decent size amount for 412. Now I sold some at 34.7 without buying them back. I want to get out of some, so it makes it a little easier. Now I was in a bidding situation because what would happen is, let's just assume the price action were to fall to say 29, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of my KMD and put a bid, an ask order in for 34698. And then if I'm able to sell it and I'm able to buy back at, say, 287, there's a profit. There's a profit there. However, if the market is to rally up to, well, 36, 37, then I could scoop this up. But I don't think that's going to happen because I think, and you might be watching this, hello, if you are watching this, but I will buy it up, and then, of course, I could sell it on the Bittrex exchange, which I do have tokens there as well for that possible scenario. But because earlier on, when the bids were at 38, in this area here, and I noticed I put my bid in for like 80 plus 40 plus 40 is 80 plus 60 for about 200 or so. I sold I had a little under 40 on the 34.7, and then I noticed like 5 seconds later he'd outbid me, and I do that 5 seconds later, and I don't have time for this, so I put in orders, putting a small one in, hoping that I would get underbid again so I can do the possible option of maybe getting a chance to buy back later. But instead, I noticed, okay, no immediate response, and I actually sold some at the 34.7, and then you can see one Satoshi bid underneath myself. So what I have to do is I would eliminate the lower end bids. I'm either going to want to bid it high and bring them all back in here. Now what would probably happen is this player will now bid one below me, but quite frankly, because I want to get out of coins, I don't want to do that. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to put a small bid at around 34,000, maybe just like around 25 and 30, because whenever I make small bids, I've noticed that this player over the last few days has had no problem hesitating putting everything underneath it, even if it's just a small amount like 20 or 25 KMD. And then at that point there, that's just how I'm playing the game. So let me just adjust the bid ask orders. And now let's put in the new adjustment. So I will move just a small amount, 38, because I don't mind profit taking some. So I have no problem making this play a little over what price is worth at 33.2. So I got 30.40 and at 38. And then, of course, if he's going to jump below, that's just going to make it a little bit easier to possibly get the chance to buy off. And then the rest of them in at 38.995, which is just under this little bid or ask in here. Let's move on. We're at 21 minutes. Wow. This is the Bella chart on the coin exchange. Very small exchange, but I'm looking at this. This is 30,000 Satoshi. I was long at this time. I sold nowhere near 30,000 Satoshi. Let's bring up the chart that you see on Poloniex. And the two times it got up to 30,000 was in here and in here. See, that's what happens with these small exchanges. When these codes rally, oftentimes you can sell for much, much higher prices. I just sold for 25 on that exchange earlier today, right here. Thank you. Thank you. But they're huge, huge possibilities. Now look at the move on a code like this. Just going down. I felt in here, you know what? It's probably a good idea to get back in. And even though this happened, I was able to profit on it on the way down. So I'm actually up on my re-entry into Bella. I was entered into it originally at the end of February, which was 2,800 I got in at. And I sold the top, bought the bottom, sold the top, bought the bottom, and then I lost from that point on. But hey, I profited on this ride higher, and I've been profiting a little bit since I've got back in. And on the daily time frame within the same chart, the move 15,000 to 1,800, we're nearing 10x down. There's a lot of awesome opportunity to the upside. The question is if. What's the likelihood? When? How long is it going to take? And to how much of a degree if successful? Well, the degree of successful, even if it doesn't do so well and it trades back in here, 6,000 or so, you're still talking about over a 3x gain. Now I want to talk about NLC too, but I'm not going to put the chart up. I was playing this. I pretty much sold it off yesterday because I've been frustrated with this code. I've been frustrated with their website. And because the price action got up to 5,000 yesterday, I sold everything up to what I would consider a minimum small position. So now it's just one of my very few positions. It's basically one of my 13 in this case. So I guess we'll do cannabis and LITECOIN and end the video. Now the 420 style holdings that I have, I want to have them for these moves that I talk about. But like all the other alternate coins, I can get back in when I no longer am a crypto altcoin bear and thus become a bull. I'll be buying. At one point, I had many points rather. I had like close to or over 100 different alternate cryptocurrencies. And again, about 30% of my portfolio in Bitcoin and about 70% in alts. I'll probably be back to 70% again in the near future, but when the time is right. I bought this baby at 100 Satoshi recently. That's why I got a lot of them. And then I turned around and I sold them for 575. So somewhere around here, one of these days, I bought them for 100. I had a buy order on the smaller exchange of Coin Exchange. And they hit. I mean, that is just fantastic. Now, I didn't sell them all, and I sold half of them. And then now I'm trying to sell it for a little bit higher. If someone's willing to pay the price, maybe I'll sell it up here right now at 570. Heck, I have no problem buying it back at 480. Interesting, though, how the chart is forming. Interesting because since it's down move, what an extreme amount of microscopic volatility that has now been spanning 6 days. This is just wild. Now, it did this in here. Small amount of volatility, then boom. It's an indicator that it's going to have a decent sized move up or down. I probably should sell more than what I have. But a lot of it is stinginess because you know you got in so cheap and you're trying to get in for the possible profits. But it's important to have your sell orders in place, and they are. They are, just in case. And now let's finish this off with Litecoin, and I am very tempted to sell everything that I got right now. And I've been selling a lot of it over the last couple of days. I probably should have got out when I knew this rally was going, because my whole view within altcoins, and I said that with Bitcoin Cash, I was right with it, but all of these rallies are guilty until proven innocent. And proven innocent means that it can do something on a technical analysis to change the scheme. So in here, if all rallies were guilty until proven innocent, well, here's a situation where you're starting to prove it innocent in here, and it had one leg higher, but at this stage, this does not look bullish whatsoever. And when you look at patterns, it's almost good to do a double rating, that is. One, how strong is the pattern that you're looking at, and how strong is the particular pattern? So the pattern is pretty much like a head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, or triple top. Bottom line is the psychology reasons to why a head and shoulder pattern is bearish, and it does what it does is the exact same for this aspect for the price action from May on. And we've got, again, all this support noticeable. So the pattern in itself is relatively a strong one. Now within the pattern, because of the situation on this third support play on the 10 handle, with a few days in here, the way it has played out to rally a little bit above the 18 average, but more importantly to this key congestion area. And the weakness on it, why didn't it reach this congestion area? Probably this was a better target. That showed weakness. And then after the market topped at around the 12 handle or so, red candle down. Okay, that's fine because you had two green ups, and as long as you hold the 11 number is what's important here, right around here. Oh, as long as you hold it, it's important. It didn't hold it. It didn't hold it. It was important to hold it. It didn't do it. And so following the small red candle down, you have a significant red candle size down, falling further than you would have liked. Then you follow that with this green candle, which made it to the previous day's open. It sold off a little bit, but you know what though? That's a good neutral situation. It's okay to have that and lift off from there, but it's important not to sell off the next day. It's sold off the next day. This is why I'm really, really bearish within this. I mean, the more that I'm talking about this, the more I'm thinking about after I complete this video, I'm just going to sell everything. But I'm going to be waiting until I see better confirmation of it. I've already sold 65-70% of the Litecoin I've had. So I've already sold a decent amount. But I don't mind selling everything, because this is most certainly a bearish pattern. Now, I know I can do 30-minute videos, so I basically have about 50 seconds to say goodbye, and that's what I'm going to do now. Oh, so these markets are going to go up, the alts. They're going to go back up again, but it doesn't look like it's ready to do so. Pretty much every single one of them have very strong bearish patterns, situations like they're probably going to be going down soon, so the likelihood is that they will. The conjunction that Bitcoin is having very good polar opposite bullish signals is very nice and intriguing. So that is my analysis. Thank you for tuning in. I'll probably have another evening analysis later on, maybe even a precious metals one. I'll do that in the weekend, so maybe not. But anyway, thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.